What is up, Unison Gamers? This is Michael Sean from Unison Games, and it is time to open a box of Core Set 2021. At the time of recording this, it is just after the first pre-release weekend. So this is, brand new. It technically hasn't even released yet. By the time this video has gone up, it will probably still be that time, or it will have just released. And I'm gonna just quick note, if you hear any noises, it's because my cat is wild. Wild. He's in that like toddler phase where he's like jumping on everything and gnawing my toes, things like that. Hey, play nice. He is crazy. So if you hear anything, that's why. All right, so let's start out our video actually not with the box, but with the things that I got because I bought the box from an LGS. So these are two of these are Magic promos that were supposed to be some kind of store promos for different things, but with everything going on for coronavirus, my LGS just decided to give them out as extra buy a box promos. So the first one is Reliquary Tower. Now it's worth mentioning this thing is not in standard, but it basically just takes away your maximum hand size, and it's a land that adds a colorless mana, so that's kind of cool. And then the other one is Mechagodzilla Battle Fortress. This is, of course, a kind of like, in Pokemon we have alternate art reprints. This is sort of like an alternate art reprint, but it also has like a slight, I don't know. It's a reprint of Hangerback Walker, which is legal in Pioneer, so it's almost standard legal, but not quite. It's an artifact creature construct for X and X. Hangerback Walker enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies, create a 1/1 colorless stopper token artifact creature token with flying for each +1/+1 counter on Hangerback Walker, and for 1 and tap it, you put a +1/+1 counter on Hangerback Walker. Now, of course, we've got plenty of ways to cheat out our artifacts as well as increase the number of +1/+1s on them. So it's kind of fun. But those are the two non-standard ones, and then this is the actual buy a box promo for M21, and this card is insane. This is Rin and Siri Inseparable, and it is a legendary creature. It is dog cat, and it says whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. It is, for those of you guys that have already seen this probably, it is red, green, and white, and 1 colorless. For red, green, and white, you can tap it. Rin and Seri Inseparable deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control. You gain life equal to the number of cats you control. So it is a 4/4/4/4, which on its own is not too bad, and then you can be spamming creature tokens everywhere. Very, very good promo card, and I'm super excited about it. But let's get into the actual opening of the box. I was doing some research on the set. I've already drafted it once, and I've actually drafted it twice because they finally released MTGA on Mac, so I was able to start doing that since I don't quite have a PC build yet. So here is the box. It is, Teferi is sort of our mascot of the set, but on the pack arts we also have Liliana and Chandra. So let's take these out of the box, get that put aside. All right, a lot of the planeswalkers are actually pretty decent coming out of this set. So let's go ahead and, if you've watched any of my videos, I gotta open it by pack art. That's like the rule, and the pack art of choice should be an easy decision. Obviously, Liliana is the best of the three, even though Teferi seems to get the most love, and that is no exception here. His Planeswalker is definitely the most expensive, and it is definitely the best as well. The Chandra Planeswalker's pretty decent. It's a little on the expensive side, but it's probably good for like a red deck that is just burning through it. Look at that, we got equal numbers of all the pack arts. So we'll go ahead and save Liliana till the end because, she is the pack art of choice. But let's start cracking these things. All right, we've got Lofty Denial, Turn to Slag, Celestial Enforcer, Capture Sphere, Walking Corpse, Titanic Growth, Crypt Lurker, Mistral Singer, Infernal Scarring, Meteorite, Griffin Airy, This is what the alternate arts are looking like right now. They can just have like fancy borders. And this is Teferi's Tutelage. Enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. When you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards. We do have mill as an actual keyword now. Our rare is Pursued Whale. It is a 7 cost, 2 of them being blue. 8/8. When Pursued Whale enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 red pirate creature token with this creature can't block, and creatures you control attack each combat if able. Spells your opponent casts to target this cost 3 more. So just a nice big creature. And we got a Hollow Witch's Cauldron, 1 black mana. Artifact for a colorless and a black. You can tap it, sacrifice a creature, you gain 1 life, and draw a card. We got a Tranquil Cove and a Beast token. Cool. That was fun. That was fun. I don't know how amazing Pursued Whale is going to be. Okay, let's get to our next pack. Put those off camera. Let's do another Chandra art here. All right, Igneous Cur is actually a pretty good card. Valorious Steed, I love this card for limited. I'm going to talk about this common really quick. So I haven't really heard anybody talking about this card, but I think it's amazing. For 5, it's a 3/3 Vigilance. When it comes in, you make a 2/2 White Knight. That sounds really good to me. Like, I think that sounds awesome. So think what you must, but I like it for limited. All right, Frost Breath, Fur of the Bitten, Masked Blackguard, Indulging Patrician, Havoc Gesture, Leafkin Avenger, Brash Taunter. I actually got this in a Jumpstart booster that I got. It's a really interesting card. 5 cost red, 1/1. It has Indestructible, and whenever this is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. And then you can pay 3 and have Brash Taunter fight another target creature. Of course, trying to fight their biggest creature, because when that creature deals damage, Brash Taunter just deals it back to their face. Interesting card. Then we have a Hollow alternate art, which is really good, and Liliana's Devotee is actually pretty decent. It is a 3 cost 2/3 zombies you control get +1/+0. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay a black and 1 colorless. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So it's not too bad. And having alternate art and a hollow is pretty sweet, or a foil, as most Magic players tend to call them. All right, let's take a look at the next pack. We got Tome Anima, Bone Pit Brute, Porticulous Vine, Duress, Legion's Judgment, Pitchburn Devils, Run Afoul, Radiant Fountain. I'm glad we're getting a reprint of that. I think it's a cool card. Rousing Reed, Kite Sail Freebooter, Vryn Wingmare, Sanctum of the Fruitful Harvest. I don't know if you guys have seen the Sanctums, but they all do things based on how many shrines you have out. Animal Sanctuary. This is actually really good because there's a lot of really great animal cards. It is a land that taps for colorless mana, but it's also, you can pay to tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on target bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. That's pretty decent because there's a lot of +1/+1 mechanics in this set. We got Tolarian Kraken, a foil of it. It's actually a pretty decent card as well. Bloodfell Caves and a Solicitation. Very nice. I'm just going to go ahead and throw Animal Sanctuary into a sleeve. I think it's definitely not going to be in every deck, but I do think that it will find a home in Standard. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Frantic Inventory, Burn Bright, Rambunctious Mutt, Blood Glutton, Pride Malkin, Goblin Arsonist, Daybreak Charger, Rookie Mistake, Mind Rot, Scorching Dragonfire, Unsubstantiate, Skyway Sniper, Battle Rattle Shaman. Maze Mind Toned is our rare. You can tap it, put a page counter on Maze Mind Tome, and scry 1. Or you can pay 2, tap it, put a page counter on Maze Mind Tome, and draw a card. When there are 4 or more page counters on Maze Mind Tome, you exile it. If you do, you gain 4 life. So just a little way to generate some advantage there. I don't think it's too bad. I don't know if it's amazing, but I definitely don't think it's like a horrible card. All right, let's take a look at this next pack. Spine Megalodon, Goblin Wizardry, Feet of Resistance, Rise Again, Ranger's Guile, Goblin Arsonist, Sky Scanner, Gale Swooper, Life Goes On, cool reprint, Wishcoin Crab, Selfless Savior, Volcanic Geyser, Siege Striker, Our rare is Hooded Blightfang. It is a 3-cost 1/4 with Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. So this is kind of like the center of an archetype that possibly may be coming out of M21, and that's Death Touch stuff. There's a lot of really good Death Touchers in the format right now, so I definitely don't think it's something to be overlooked. I'm not sure if it's going to be tier 1 or anything like that, but it is kind of cool. And we got Rugged Highlands and the Griffin. I'm going to go ahead and stick it over there. All right, let's take a look here. Destructive Tampering, Secure the Scene, Cancel, Hobble Fiend, Set Us in Training, Fetid Imp, Hunter's Edge, Silent Dart, Grasp of Darkness, a alternate art of Chandra's Magmut. I actually really like this. Is one of my favorite dogs in the set. Traitorous Greed, Silver Smoke Gowl, Tide Skimmer, and another Hooded Blightfang, 2 in a row. It's kind of interesting. All right, and we got a Mountain and a Soldier. Just as a generalization about M21 and M21 is that it's actually a pretty decent core set. There's a lot of value, a lot of really expensive cards coming out of the set, a lot of needed reprints. There's one card that's literally never been reprinted that's now reprinted here in 2021. Maybe we can pull it. That'd be awesome. Destructive Tampering, Defiant Strike, Read the Tides, Hobble Fiend, Gloom Sower, Ranger's Guile, Rise Again, Snare Spinner, Roaming Ghostlight, Shock. So happy. In the spoiler season, I somehow missed Shock getting a reprint. Like, I don't know if nobody talked about it or if I just didn't watch the right videos or whatever. But when I found out Shock got the reprint, I was like super pumped because Mono Red is a deck that's kind of been good for a while now, and I was a little concerned that they were losing too much to the rotation. But knowing that Shock is going to still be in the standard format is actually pretty serious. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. Archfiend's Vessel, Direfleet Warmonger, Burlfist Oak, and then our rare is Transmogrify. It's a 4-cost red spell. Exile target creature. That creature's controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. That player puts that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles the rest of their library. So it could be interesting, kind of similar to Luca's first ability, although you definitely always want to be using Luca for yourself, but you can actually use this for one of your opponent's creatures as well. If they just get out their like huge bomb, you can just be like, okay, well, I don't think there's any creatures that are better than that, so let's just get rid of that 12/12 creature, and then hopefully you top deck one that's at least half that power. So really interesting. I think with ramp, there's a lot of people that are playing like big scary creatures, so Transmogrify could be okay. In red though, I feel like you're just going to try to remove it or play around it with non-combat damage, so I don't actually know if it's going to be hugely played. Well, let's take a look at another one. All right, Concordia Pegasus, Spine Megalodon, Goblin Wizardry, Feat of Resistance, Fetid Imp, Garruk's Gorehorn, Hunter's Edge, Silent Dart, Grasp of Darkness, another Chandra's Magmut, that's kind of cool, Falcon Adept, Waker of the Waves, Warden of the Woods, and Shacklegeist. Shacklegeist is an interesting, there's sort of like a loose spirit thing going on here. It's a 2/2, 4/2, a flying creature. Shacklegeist can block only creatures with flying, so that's not the greatest. Tap 2 untap spirits you control, tap target creature you don't control. So I think this is going to be alright if we can get some other spirit tokens being made or something like that. And here's a good look at the alternate art lands that are actually made their way into here. Pretty sweet alternate art if you ask me. I like the actual how it's burning on the mountain one. It's very nice. And we got an angel token. I am hoping to get 5, at least one of each of both, and then one of each in foil. That is my goal for the M21 season, because I like fancy lands. Who doesn't like fancy lands? I mean, come on. One of the questions for the comments is going to be, which alternate art land do you like the best? All right, so start thinking about it now. Makeshift Battalion, Frantic Inventory, Crash Through, Concordia Pegasus, Drowsing Pteranodon, Deathbloom Thallid, Sabertooth Mauler, Shock, again good, Swift Response, Dub, Palladium Myrrh. I actually really like this card. It's a 3-cost 2/2, which is like not the worst, but you could also tap it for 2 colorless mana. I think that's pretty decent. Eliminate, very nice, very nice instant speed black removal. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. That to me seems like a better version of what's the one for 2? I believe it's Reeve's Soul. That's from Eldraine, because this also hits planeswalkers, so that's pretty good. Riddle Form, and another Brash Taunter. That's funny. Scored Barons and a Solicit. Let's do it. All right, no mythics so far. That's all right. Alpine Watchdog, Library Larcenist, Sure Strike, Deathbloom Thallid, Titanic Growth, Run Afoul, Radiant Fountain, Rousing Reed, Goblin Arsonist, Alpine Houndmaster, Sanctum of the Stone Fangs. I think this is probably the best shrine. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of shrines you control. It's pretty good, like just an instant, like for 2 mana, what is it, Ill-Gotten Inheritance is kind of similar to that, where that's the static ability of Ill-Gotten Inheritance. This is the same static ability, but if you're playing stuff in like, if you have multiple shrines in your deck, then this is very, very good. Shipwreck Dowser. Look at that. We got our mythic rare Chandra Heart of Fire. Now, this is not at all like the best planeswalker in the set by any means, but I think it's pretty good. It's 5 cost for 5 loyalty, which is okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. And it's 2 +1s, and that's what I think makes this card, is that they're both +1. So +1, you can discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way. Now, if you've ever played mono red before, which this is really definitely where this card would go, would be mono red. If you ever played mono red before, you know as well as I do that you're not often having a huge hand size. In fact, a lot of times you're just playing off your top deck. And luckily in Ravnica Allegiance, we had that awesome card, Light Up the Stage, which did a similar thing to this. You could play it for 1, Spectacle Cost it, and then exile 2 cards. And you could play them until the end of your next turn. This is really similar to that. So you just, if you're in top deck mode, you just, for free, exile 3 cards and you can play them all that turn. That's really, really, really good. Another +1 is Chandra Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. Now, the fact that this says any target and not just creatures is amazing. +1, deal your opponent 2 damage. Sounds really great to me. +1, remove one of your creatures' remove one of your opponent's problem creatures. Sounds good to me. And the ultimate -9, search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant or sorcery cards, exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn, add 6 red mana. So that sounds pretty good too. I mean, you're putting an insane amount of mana into your mana pool, and then you're playing your, your best, how many is it? Any number, right? Your best, at least 6 maybe, your best 6 spells in your deck. So that sounds pretty good. Now, can you get to your ultimate with this is the question. You're on turn 5. You're only getting 5 loyalty. You do have 2 +1s, but I just don't think this is going to get to 9 very often. Here's our next one. We've got a nice, wow, that looks great. That is really good design there. Solemn Simulacrum is what I'm going to say. When this enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. When this dies, you may draw a card. That seems pretty decent too. For 4, it is a rare borderless alternate art, so we're pumped about that. And we got an alternate art Forest and Garruk's thing. That was a great pack. Weirdly, like these little emblems, they are usually worth a little bit of change. I'm gonna go ahead and sleeve these up. I'm gonna sleeve that mountain too, because like I said, I gotta get my alternate arts. So sometimes I just sleeve stuff. If it's coming in and out of decks all the time, it just gets sleeved. That's kind of how it is. Yeah, that was a really, really good pack. I feel like Chandra's pack pile kind of redeemed itself with that card. We're gonna be careful with this one. Awesome. Cool. Just so you guys know, because I'm sure there were some prices flashing across the screen for that one. The prices are based on during pre-release season, because that's when this video is going to get edited. So recognize that they could come down if you're watching this after the set has been released properly. Most likely those prices will come down. the cool thing about, well, it's still not a cool thing, but with the coronavirus being a thing, I'm going to kind of flip through this pack while I talk. With the coronavirus being a thing, nobody's really playing a lot of these cards right now, and therefore some of these cards actually might raise in value as they become more playable. If a card that somebody thought was an outlier starts becoming, oh, that's a nice alternate art. 2 alternate arts in a row. Wow. If a card that somebody thought was going to be an outlier becomes a very highly played card, then we're in a good spot. The card's going to raise in value. Azusa Lost But Seeking. This is definitely in the top 10 most expensive cards in the set. It is a reprint of another card, but this is really cool. It's a 3-cost 1/2. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. Really, really good. Ramp is crazy right now. And the question, I was watching a video before this, and their question was, is this better than some of the ramp that is in the format right now? And I will say my response to that is Growth Spiral will be rotating in a handful of months. And so it doesn't really matter because our options will be limited. And there's still going to be a lot of really good options, obviously. Some of the best ones are going to be rotating. So I think it is cool that Ramp has another option here. And we got a Hollow Palladium Myr. I already told you how I like that card, so I won't bore you with telling you again. All right, our last Chandra pack art. Let's see what we got here. Cancel, Thrill of Possibility, Revitalize, Opt, Sanguine Indulgence. I love the card Opt, by the way. Colossal Dreadmaw, Turret Ogre, Gnarled Sage, Basri's Acolyte, Infernal Scarring, Sanctum of the Shattered Heights, Rewind, Reign of Revelation, Double Vision for 5 and 2, well, 3 and 2 red, 5 with 2 red. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for their copy. On the face of it, seems like an amazing card, but there's no way this won't get removed. That's very, very, very good. And enchant removal is more common in decks, so you might be able to pull it off game 1. I don't think you're gonna pull it off again after that, though. All right, let's get into our Teferi packs. Hopefully we open ourselves a Teferi Planeswalker. We already used a box for a draft that me and my sisters did, and one of my sisters opened a borderless version of Teferi yesterday in our draft, and I was very jealous. Maybe we can open ourselves one, and it would be foil, so we get a 1-up. That'd be cool. Defiant Strike, Liliana Steward, Drowsing Pteranodon, Forgotten Sentinel, Warded Battlements, Frost Breath, Fur of the Bitten, Masked Blackguard, Alpine Houndmaster, Sanctum of Calm Waters, Watcher of the Spheres. Oh, I've heard a lot about this card, actually. Gudrak the Crown Scourge. It is a 3-cost red dragon. It is a 5/4. It has flying, obviously, because it's a dragon. Gudrak the Crown Scourge can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts, which sounds bad. Until, at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. So there's 2 ways to play this thing. You play it with artifacts, or you just play it with a lot of removal, burn spells, etc. And you just try to... The win condition is turn 3, cast this, turn 4, kill a bunch of stuff. You know, play it with like Blazing Volleys, with shocks, obviously. For now, you can play it with Lava Coil, stuff like that. So, pretty sweet. All right. And a Goblin Wizard token. I'm going to go ahead and sleeve that Gudrak. I think it is a great card. I am using my Ashiok mat today. Just got it a little while ago. I'm a huge fan of Ashiok. All right. Let's take a look. Lofty Denial, Turn to Slag, Celestial Enforcer, Pride Malkin, Walking Corpse, Garruk's Gorehorn, Sanguine Indulgence, Turret Ogre, Basri's Acolyte, Selfless Savior, Carrion Grub, Basri's Solidarity. I actually really like this card. It is a 2-cost white spell, put +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. It is sorcery. I think it sounds super good. Obviously, you play it when your opponent's tapped out, so you know it's going to resolve because this thing could win you the game. Scavenging Ooze. This card is awesome. It is a 2-cost 2/2. Has an ability, which is good on its own. It has an ability for 1 green mana, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain 1 life. You know what I like about this card, and somebody else said this too on YouTube if you've been watching more stuff for this set. And This card just it has so much utility. You know, you obviously you exile their escape creatures. You exile, you know, some of their stuff that they're hoping to recur from the graveyard that has effects when it recurs from the grave, like what is it, Archfield's Vessel? I think that's in this set. If you recur it from the graveyard, it comes back as a 5/5 demon. This just answers that. Even if you're coming against that Zenith Flare cycle deck, you just cycle all of their you don't cycle, you exile all of their like cycling stuff. That's a creature, and then when you do it, you get a +1/+1 counter and you gain 1 life. So at the same time that you're answering these really commonly played cards, you're also boosting the power of your onboard creature. And it doesn't even start weak. Like a lot of cards like this will start weak because they have potential to get big. No, this starts as a regular, like 2/2 for 2 is already pretty decent. So I really like it. We get a Hollow Hobble Fiend as well, or a foil Hobble Fiend. Most of you guys know this, but if you didn't know, I play Pokemon primarily, and there we call them hollows, not foils. Boom, Scavenging Ooze. Alright, Crash Through, Concordia Pegasus, Tome Anima, Bone Pit Brute, Walking Corpse, Titanic Growth, Infernal Scarring, Hunter's Edge, Silent Dart, Grasp of Darkness, Obsessive Stitcher, Falconer Adept, Kinetic Augur, Ghostly Pilferer. This is a blue 2/2. It is a 2-cost 2/1. Whenever Ghostly Pilferer becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, you can draw a card. That's not bad. Whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, you draw a card. That you'll definitely do that in a game. And discard a card. Ghostly Pilferer can't be blocked this turn. Of course, it is a rogue. So if I actually think that rogues have a chance right now. I think rogue decks could definitely be seeing some play post rotation. So I'm going to give this card an okay. I don't think it's amazing, but I actually do think it has a little bit of potential in something like a rogue deck as your card draw. Okay. We got Staunch Shieldmate, Titanic Growth, Village Rites, Short Sword, Finishing Blow, the most expensive kill spell of all time. Just, it's not at all. That's not real. Rookie Mistake, Truffle Snout, Daybreaker Charger, Mind Rot, Witch's Cauldron, Angelic Ascension. This is an awesome card. I really like this card. It is a 2-cost white instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Its controller creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. The coolest thing that you can do with this card is play a little 1/1 for 1 on your first turn, and then second turn play a 4/4 white angel creature token. Not really, you're exiling that creature and creating it. Or your opponent has this giant, like, to use as an example, like a big, like 10/10 green trampoline creature, and you're just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So you just make their 10/10 a 4/4 with flying. It's pretty good. Twin Blade Assassins. Okay, Idol of Endurance. This is a 3-cost white artifact. When Idol of Endurance enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards with CMC cost 3 or less from your graveyard until Idol of Endurance leaves the battlefield. Okay, and then for 1 and 1 white, you tap it until end of turn. You may cast a creature spell from among the cards exiled with Idol of Endurance without paying its mana cost. That's pretty sweet, actually. So you just play this in a deck where you're playing a bunch of little white spells, or really any color. Yeah, you could play this in like a discarding thing too, like maybe in like an Orzhov build, and you could play like any color, and you just get them all in your graveyard, and then you cast them for free with Idol of Endurance. Play the best little creatures in the game with this card. I actually really like that. That sounds really fun. Swift Response is a foil. This is a pretty decent card. Classic white destruction, where you just destroy a tapped creature for 2. Very nice. All right, let's take a look here at our next one. Celestial Enforcer, Lofty Denial, Igneous Cur, Valorous Steed, Sanguine Indulgence, Ornery Dilophosaur, right? Yeah. Shock, Swift Response, Dub, Fungal Rebirth, Epitaph Golem, Seasoned Hallowblade, Veto Thorn of the Dusk Rose. This is a deck that I will definitely be building post M21. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Super cool. It's a 3-cost, 1/3 in black. And of course, for 3 colorless and 2 black, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Pretty decent. That's not really the point though. The point is that you're dealing non-combat damage every single time you gain life. So you play it in a gain life deck, obviously, and this becomes just a way to make your lifelink cost. This lets you swing with your lifelink creatures like every turn, because even if they die, it's like I'm still dealing damage to you. Really, really, really cool card. I like it. And a foil of Ghostly Pilferer and an alternate art Island. Pretty sweet card. We already talked about Ghostly Pilferer, so I'm not going to do it again. You guys already have heard my thoughts on that. Really excited for that veto. That was one card that I was really hoping we could pull, because I think in that deck you would at least need 3 of them, if not 4. The only reason it would possibly be 3 instead of 4 is because the card is legendary. Let's take a look at our next pack. Alpine Watchdog, Vodalian Arcanist, Bone Pit Brute, Village Rites, Citizen Training, Radiant Fountain, Truffle Snout, Finishing Blow, Short Sword, Furious Rise, Bad Deal. Fierce Empath is actually a pretty decent card. 3-cost, 1/1 elf. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Obviously, you use this in a ramp deck, and you cast that bad boy. All right, Liliana's Standard Bearer. It is a 3-cost black zombie knight. It's a 3/1. It has flash. When it enters the battlefield, you draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Obviously, in a Liliana deck, you're going to want to be blocking a lot or attacking a lot, getting killed, so that you can bring all those creatures back from the graveyard with your many graveyard recurrent spells. Sweet. All right, and we got a nice full art here, Containment Priest. We've got a 2-cost white human cleric creature. It's a 2/2. It has flash. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. There's you guys know there's plenty of ways to do that in standard right now, and this card just says no. There we go. Pretty decent card. I think that this will be a good sideboard card for a lot of decks. And Liliana's Standard Bearer, you know, it's a fine card. I'm just not sure whether or not it has a home yet. So we have not quite seen that graveyard recurring deck, unless you count Uro, I guess, be incredibly popular lately. That might change though with the set, because we got a lot of good stuff that deals with it. All right, Fury of the Bitten, Masked Blackguard, Linoir Visionary, Prismite, Experimental Overload, Gourmand, Wildwood Scourge, and Stormwing Entity is our rare. It is a 5-cost, Double Devotion to Blue, 3/3. This spell costs 2 colorless and a blue less to cast if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. Very nice. It has flying and prowess. When Stormwing Entity enters the battlefield, describe 2. This thing is made for an Izzet Drake's deck. Prowess in general is made for that. Prowess being one of the new keywords for those of you guys that don't know Prowess from back when we had it last time. I believe it was in the Amonkhet block. It's whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And yes, that does stack. So if you cast like 4 ops, you're getting 4 +1/+1 counters on your flyer, and you're making this thing super cheap to play. So pretty cool. I really like this card. I think it will be good. We got a Jungle Hollow and a zombie creature token. Very cool. Yeah, Izzet is one of my favorite color combinations, and there's so many different ways you could play it right now. I'm looking forward to exploring some of those different ways, trying to see what the best one is. Staunch Shieldmate, Keen Glidemaster, Burn Bright, Rambunctious Mutt, Alchemist's Gift, Snare Spinner, Roaming Ghostlight, Return to Nature, Skeleton Archer, Anointed, Chorister, Jeskai Elder, Faith's Fetters, Liliana's Devotee, Temple of Silence, we love Scrylands, Bloodfell Caves, and a Knight creature token, or is that a soldier? No, it's a Knight. Cool. Always love dual lands. Especially since I was really expecting them to print like a better version of dual lands in this set. Because when we rotate, the only thing we're going to have is Scrylands. And that's, that's going to slow things down. Because right now we have Shocklands. Alternate art, Liliana's Tour. Don't know what happened there. It is a 1-cost 1/2, which is pretty decent. You can tap it, sacrifice it, and target opponent discards a card. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Sure. Porticulous Vine, Lionwire Visionary, Prismite, Duress, Legion's Judgment, Pitchburn Devils, Obsessive Stitcher, Chandra's Pyreling, Malefic Scythe, Temple of Mystery. We already talked about why Scrylands are going to be very important to our meta. Going to become, I would say, just instant 4-ofs for any dual color deck. If you weren't playing 4 of it before, you're going to be playing 4 of it now. All right, Thrill of Possibility, Valorious Steed, Read the Tides, Track Down. This card's really good. It is 1 and a green, scry 3, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature or land card, you can draw a card, so you basically just draw it. Pretty nice. Village Rites, Spellgorger Weird, another one of those awesome Is It cards, Caged Zombie, Short Sword, Rookie Mistake, Finishing Blow, Canopy Stalker, Heartfire Immolator, Conclave Mentor. I can do it. All right. Kervek the Spiteful. That's what I'm going with. Other creatures get -1/-1. It is a double devotion, 4-cost black card, 3/2. Other creatures. That includes your creatures, just so you know. But that is very powerful, for sure. It's a really powerful spell. I am cool with it. All right. Keeping it moving. Almost done with Teferi here. Have not seen a lot of mythics, so I would imagine that they're coming. Alpine Watchdog, Library Larcenist, Sure Strike, Porticulous Vine, Gloomsower, Roaming Ghostlight, Shock, Sabertooth Mauler, Dub, Sanctum of the Tranquilite. Of course, this is the White Shrine. Sanctum of the Fruitful Harvest. We got 2 of them. Heartfire Immolator. Okay, Chandra Heart of Fire. This is the nice alternate art, full art version of Chandra Heart of Fire. So that's kind of cool. I guess Chandra really likes us. And we got a Hollow Spellgorger Weird and a Thornwood Falls. Man, it's a good thing I like this card, because that's the second time we pulled it. That is a really cool looking, really cool looking alternate art. I am a fan of that. Pretty sweet. In fact, I think I like that art better than this art. You guys let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree. I will say I played this card in a draft the other day. I did on MTGA, and like they have like, I don't know, the Planeswalker, the Planeswalkers like say things when they come into play, and like Chandra was just basically like this, like a basic white girl, and she was like, I don't know, I feel like it was like offensive. They were like stereotyping like white girls, I feel like, when they did it. I don't know. Check it out. Maybe Google it. Maybe somebody else is talking about it too. Ornery, Dilophosaur, Swift Response, Wall of Ruins, Skeleton Archer, Teferi's Protege, Cultivate. This is a really good card as well. 2 colorless and 1 green. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards and put 1 onto the battlefield, tapped, and the other into your hand. Then shuffle your library, and you can bet that you'll probably have something else in your hand that'll play you the other card as well, because we have so much ramp right now. Hellkite Punisher, Twin Blade Assassins, Baron Tolarian Archmage. This is a pretty decent card. It bounces things when it comes in. It's a double devotion, 3-cost blue spell, cost 2/2. When this enters the battlefield, return up to 1 other target creature, Planeswalker, to its owner's hand. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, you draw a card. So you can bounce one of your own things, then draw a card later, or you can bounce your opponent's stuff. And the fact that it can hit creatures and Planeswalkers is really, really good, in my opinion. And we got a Mountain and Liliana's token here, or emblem, I guess, is the technical word. There we go. I'm not going to sleeve this Mountain because we already got one sleeved up over there. And I'm one of those people where I don't need to play the same basic land art in my deck. I know some of you guys are like that. I'm OCD, but not with that, so that's just the way it is. Okay, we have our stack of Liliana packs here. We have not gotten very many mythics. We've gotten, how many mythics? 2? 2 mythics. We've gotten some full arts. I'm not saying it's been horrible, but there's not been a lot of mythics. So let's hopefully, I mean, the idea of picking a favorite pack art is that we always open that, assuming that those will have the best cards. So let's see those mythics. Sure Strike, Makeshift Battalion, Frantic Inventory, Rise Again, Ranger's Guile, Line of War, Visionary, Prismite, Duress, Legion's Judgment, Pitchburn, Devils, Furious Rise, Bad Deal, Malefic Scythe. All right, Sabira, Tulzidi, Caravaner. I think I got all those words right. It is a legendary human shaman, costs 3, its stats are 2/3. I actually really think this card is cool. It has haste. You can pay 1, another target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn, and you can pay 1 colorless and 1 red, tap it, discard your hand until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. This is really, I think this is cool, and the reason why I think it's cool is because we can all think of tons of 2 power or less creatures that have done tons of damage in mono red decks. And the cool thing is you can have it not be blocked and then pump it up before damage. So it might be power 2 or less right now, but in a second it's not going to be, and it still doesn't get blocked. So that's pretty awesome as long as you do it right before damage. And you can also activate both of these effects at a time, which is pretty dope. So I like Sabira. I think it's cool. Not sure how much, like mono, if you're a red card right now, you got a lot to compete with. So doesn't see play, it's cool. I won't be offended. All right, next card here, we got Revitalized. We got Opt, Turn to Slag, Secure the Scene, Gloom Sower, Colossal Dreadmaw, Roaming Ghostlight, Return to Nature, Skeleton Archer, Anointed Chorister, Garruk's Uprising is a pretty good card. Tempered Veteran, and Burrow Fist Oak. Garruk's Harbinger, this is the Garruk pack. So this thing is amazing. It is a 3-cost double devotion to green, 4/3 hexproof from black. Whenever Garruk's Harbinger deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may reveal a creature card or Garruk planeswalker card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Oh my goodness. The fact that it's a 3-cost 4/3 is already good. Hexproof from black, awesome. Black has tons of removal. And for that reason, cards like Ramp or big, just big creature decks oftentimes struggle against black because they just remove their creatures. And the fact that you get a draw off of it, it's a great card. I really, really like it. And we get an island and a pirate. I was sort of hoping it was the Garruk pack, I was sort of hoping for like a foil Garruk Planeswalker after that, but it wasn't happening. It's okay. Let's do another one. All right, Concordia Pegasus, Tome Anima, Bone Pit Brute, Snare Spinner, Deathbloom Thallid, Mistral Singer, Chandra's Magma, Return to Nature, Grasp of Darkness, Light of Promise. This card is very good. Whenever you gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. You know as well as I do that life gain is already kind of out of control. Tavern Swindler, Dire Fleet Warmonger. All right, here's a mythic for us, Mangara the Diplomat. This is a little expensive as far as cost and value is concerned. It is a 4-cost to 4 lifelinker. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, you get to just draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you also get to just draw a card. So that's pretty good. The explanation for it costing a lot of money is that white just doesn't have good card draw. That's what I've heard people saying, and off the top of my head, I can't really think of really good card draw in white either. So Mangara seems to be pretty good for that. We got a foil Radiant Fountain. Let's go ahead and sleeve up Mangara over there. So pretty sweet. I like it a lot. All right, I don't think Radiant Fountain needs to be in our lineup as much as I like that card. The same with this mountain because we already got one. Boom. All right. Let's check out our next pack here. Goblin Wizardry, Feat of Resistance, Track Down, Crypt Lurker, Forgotten Sentinel, Scorching Dragonfire, Silent Dart, Run Afoul, Frost Breath, Invigorating Surge, Chrome Replicator, Tolarian Kraken. Volcanic Salvo is our rare. It is 10 and 2 red. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. Volcanic Salvo deals 6 damage to each of up to 2 targets and or planeswalkers. Pretty good. Pretty good. target creatures and or planeswalkers. Not 2 targets, 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. So you can knock out a bunch of good stuff with this, and potentially it could be cheap to cast. Obviously, that's going to be the time to deck where you want to play this, either like a Gruul thing that has like really, really big creatures, or a red thing when the idea is combat tricks that you're pumping up your creatures with, and then you, after pumping them up, fire off Volcanic Salvo because it's cheap. Boom, Frost Breath is our holo out of that pack. Sorry, our foil out of that pack. Okay. Getting to the bottom of the stack here. Goblin Wizardry, Feat of Resistance, Frantic Inventory, Burn Bright, Blood Glutton, sorry, Track Down, Wall of Ruins, Grasp of Darkness. This is like the most like common, alternate art that I've seen so far. Teferi's Protege, Sabertooth Mauler, Palladium Myr, Liliana's Devotee, Shipwreck Drowser, Sporeweb Weaver as reach and hexproof from blue. It is a 3-cost 1/4. When it's dealt damage, you gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sap rolling creature token. Cool. And Rugged Heights. Sounds like a lot of fun. Here we go. How many do we have left? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packs left. All right. Planeswalker in every one. Let's do it. Cancel. Thrill of Possibility. Village Rites. A alternate art Garruk Scorehorn. Short Sword. Goblin Arsonist. Daybreak Charger. Rookie Mistake. Mind Rot. Scorching Dragonfire. Traitorous Greed. Silver Smoke Gal. Soul Seer. Here's a mythic, Discontinuity. It's 3 and 3 blue. It's an instant. As long as it's your turn, this spell costs 4 less to cast, including 2 blue there. And you just end the turn if it's your turn. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know that you'll love playing this on your turn. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much play that's going to see. But it is a mythic, so we'll stick it in a sleeve. And I like the art. I like the art on it. I think it's cool. There we go. All right, bottom 6. Here we go. Keen Glidemaster, Burn Bright, Rambunctious, Mutt, Spined Megalodon, Set Us in Training, Blood Glutton, Teferi's Protege, Hunter's Edge, Wall of Ruins, Swift Response, Miscast, Bolt Hound, Tide Skimmer, Temple of Silence, it's their second one, Swamp, and Sap Rolling. Cool. All right, we only got 5 packs left. Makeshift Battalion, Frantic Inventory, Crash Through, Ranger's Guile, Rise Again, Gale Swooper, Life Goes On, Wishcoin Crab, Spellgorger Weird, Caged Zombie, Rewind, Thrashing Brontodon, Teferi's Tutelage, Containment Priest. We got the full art of this. I'll go ahead and hold off on talking about it since we already talked about it back with our previous ones. Let's take a look at the art comparison, though. We got to do that. Interesting. It's like a completely different person, basically. Yeah. Kind of cool. I like it. 4 packs. Let's do it. Read the Tides, Hobble Fiend, Alpine Watchdog, Library Larcenist, Deathbloom Thallid, Porticulous Vine, Alchemist's Gift, Snare Spinner, Mistral Singer, Sanctum of Stone Fangs, Quirion Dryad, pretty decent card, Aven Gagglemaster, Glorious Anthem. So it's 1 and 2 white for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1. All right, there is the money right there. Foil Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I do believe this is the most expensive card coming out. No, Teferi might be the most expensive card. This is a really good card, though. It is an 8-cost, Aurelus is what they call it, I believe. Colorless or Aurelus, whatever one it is. Ugin, it's +2. Ugin the Spirit Dragon deals X damage. There's 3 damage to any target. Then -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less. That's 1 or more colors. And -10, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanents from your hand onto the battlefield. Very, very, very good. And we got an alternate art Plains as well. We're definitely going to sleeve that up. That's going to be worth a little bit of cash. And Glorious Anthem actually seems like a pretty good rare as well. So we're gonna sleeve that one, and we'll sleeve our planes. Man, that was it was getting close to where I was like, man, we didn't really get a lot of like bombs, I guess, out of the pack. I mean, not like standard bombs, like big money cards, you know. And there we go, we got one. All right, give us foil Grim Tutor now. We got 3 more packs. All right, Rambunctious Mutts, Capture Sphere. Onake Ogre, Fetid Imp, Pride Malkin, Caged Zombie, Spellgorger Weird, Radiant Fountain, Truffle Snout, Finishing Blow, Tormod's Crypt, Indulging Patrician, Reign of Revelation, Teferi's Ageless Insight. It is 2 and 2 blue. Legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card, except the first one, you draw in each of your draw steps. Draw 2 cards instead. If you would draw a card, except for the first one you draw in each of your draw steps. Okay, draw 2 cards instead. So your Ops now draw for 2. Your Radicalized Eos now draw for 2. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that. Not sure where a home would go for that kind of card in Standard. I could definitely see it being a huge thing in other formats. In Standard, I'm not totally sure, but who knows? All right, Capture Sphere, Thrill of Possibility, Valorious Steve, Ornery Dilophosaur, Fetid Imp, Master Blackguard, Warded Battlements, Llanowar Visionary, Furor of the Bitten, Prismite, Chandra's Pyroling, Enthralling Hold, Fierce Empath, 9 lives. This is just like a cool idea for a card. It's an enchantment that costs 3, 2 of them being white. Hexproof, if a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an Incarnation's counter on 9 lives. When there are 9 or more Incarnation counters on 9 lives, you exile it. When 9 lives leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So the only way that you would really be trying to play this, I think it's more of just kind of like a meme card, but if you were going to try to play it, you would have to play it with stuff that prevented combat damage from being dealt, or I don't know, or bounced a bunch of creatures or things like that. That would really be the only way. So 9 lives. Pretty cool. I do love cats, so just a fun card. All right, we're on our last pack. What are we hoping for? We're hoping for foil, Teferi, full art. Let's see what we got. Read the Tides, Hobblefiend, Colossal Dreadmaw, Liliana Steward, Run Afoul, Radiant Fountain, Rousing Reed, Goblin Arsonist, Skyscanner, Sanctum of the Shattered Heights, Archfiend's Vessel, Conclave Mentor. Primal Might is our rare. It is X and 1 green. Target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Pretty decent card. And then we did get a foil, but it's just a Sabertooth Mauler. And a Windscarred Crag and a Solicitation. Lots of solicitations in this one, I will say. Maybe there's just not a ton of tokens in the set. I'm not totally sure. Okay, let's take a look at our big cards here. We'll look at the lineup. I'm just going to go ahead and just look at some of the big ones. Teferi's Ageless Insight we'll include here. We'll put the lands to the side because we got to compare them all, obviously. Sure. Chandra up there, obviously. Sure. We got our 2 temples. Those are pretty sweet. So what land did we not get? Black. We did not get a black one. That's sad. That is very sad. Sure, and sure. Okay, so Animal Sanctuary, Containment Priest, Ghostly Pilfer, Scavenging Ooze, Gidrak the Crown Scourge, Azusa Lost But Seeking, Chandra Heart of Fire, Solemn Simulacrum, Vito Thorn of the Dusk Rose, Temple of Silence, Temple of Mystery, Karavek the Spiteful, Sabira Tolzidi Caravaner, Baron Tolarian Archmage, Mangara the Diplomats, Discontinuity, Garuk's Harbinger, Volcanic Salvo, Chandra Heart of Fire, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, and Teferi's Ageless Insight, and Glorious Anthem. Obviously, the star will be this Hollow Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. Really pumped about that pull. I would say the runner-up would be this Chandra Heart of Fire alternate art. But of course, the burning question: which one do you think is best? We got Plains, we got Island. We do not have the Swamp one, unfortunately. We got Mountain, and we got Forest. Maybe we'll flash up a picture of the Swamp one so that you guys can see that one as well. Have at it, comment section. Which art do you think is the best? For me personally, I like the land art. I have seen the black one as well. The land art for the Island, but I like the border art for the Fire. That is my final answer. So, very, very cool. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of this video. You guys are the best. Of course, if you're watching and you are not a subscriber, what are you doing? Be a subscriber. We bring so much content. You are not going to want to miss it. We bring contents for all kinds of different games, including Magic the Gathering, obviously, but also including Pokemon, Transformers, and other games as well. So you're not going to want to miss that. We did change our Pack-a-Day initiative to a generic TCG instead of a Pokemon, which means that we're opening all kinds of trading card products on the Pack-a-Day TCG opening initiative. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, check out the other videos on the channel. If you like this video, leave a like. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video.